And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. And if you'd like additional weather information on top of what you get in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. That is National Weather Service's online presence. It'll bring you to a map of the continental U.S. with Hawaii and Alaska to the lower left. And if you point and click anywhere on this map, it'll give you a very specific forecast for a given location across the country, including any relevant watches, warnings, or advisories. And a quick check of the weather map across the lower 48 on this Wednesday afternoon. Reason it's important is because the pattern that's impacting the lower 48 is impacting Alaska as well. We have heat advisories, excessive heat warnings along the East Coast, including cities like Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. Tornado watches in the Northeast down into New York State, eastern Pennsylvania from the remnants of Hurricane Beryl that came up into Texas with flooding rains. That system has now worked its way all the way up in the Northeast. Not only is there the threat of severe weather and a few tornadoes, but also flash flooding there in portions of northern New England is very heavy rainfall associated with this very moist tropical air mass producing thunderstorms with torrential downpours in that region. Further west, we have excessive heat warnings and heat advisories across much of the west, especially the interior west. If you may have heard in the news, Las Vegas set its all-time record high of 120 degrees here. I believe it was back on Sunday. And same thing, Palm Springs, California there, 124 degrees for their all-time record high. So this is very serious heat wave. Why is that important for Alaska? Well, when the western U.S. is under that heat dome, we are typically under a cooler trough of low pressure, which means cooler temperatures, cloudier skies, and episodes of rain. And we expect this cool and wet pattern to continue through mid-July in many areas of the state. Another round of steadier rainfall is on the way for southwest Alaska late Thursday night into Friday. Talk a little more about that. And then also energy from that same system linking up with another one coming out of the North Pacific will produce a wet and windy weekend along the Gulf Coast into the Panhandle, as well as south central up into east central areas of the mainland by the time we get into late Sunday and early next week. And as a result, there are only a few areas of higher fire danger that remain, mainly in the southern and eastern portions of the mainland. Otherwise, fire danger has been snuffed out there in areas of western and southwest of Alaska, given the heavier rains that have set up on and off here for the last couple of weeks. So way up along the Arctic coast, north slope, low clouds, breezy conditions, 37 degrees. They've had east-northeast winds gusting up over 25 miles an hour. As we go to the southwest, Bethel, low clouds and light rain, 52 degrees as of mid-afternoon. And this has been common across the lower Yukon, lower Kuskokwim basin on along the coastal areas. And we have another wet system moving into the southwest, as I mentioned, for late Thursday night and Friday, especially along and inland from Kuskokwim and Bristol Bays. Way out toward the eastern interior, Alcan border, Eagle, partly cloudy, 75. You have these cumulus buildups. There could be an isolated shower thunderstorm. And the next couple of afternoons, we have the potential for some isolated to scattered thunderstorms all the way from along the Alcan border and northwestward along the southern and southwestern slopes of the Brooks Range. And then finally down in Wrangell, along the intercoastal mountains of the Panhandle, rain and low clouds today with some fog, 54 degrees. As another round of rain showers and areas of rain move through the Panhandle. More is on the way. Still have some lingering showers there across areas of the Panhandle for tomorrow, Thursday, with more rain arriving over the course of the weekend, especially picking up again later Saturday and into Sunday. So the only thing of concern is a special weather statement for the southwest part of the state, including northern half of the Alaska Peninsula. Another half to locally 1 to 2 inches of rain could fall. With southeasterly flow, we're going to have low pressure, kind of a couple of them, but the main pinwheel of low pressure sitting out here. And then there's going to be another secondary low come up just south of the Alaska Peninsula into the Gulf this weekend. So the precursor of all that will be the next round of steadier rain coming in late Thursday night and on Friday. If you have any enhanced, when you get to the south and easterly flow ahead of the system going up the terrain, that could enhance the rainfall. So a few areas in here, Wood-Tikchik Park, and that could see an inch or two of rainfall as a result of enhancement from the terrain. And looking at the fire danger, well, there's only a few pockets of higher fire danger up around the Yukon Flats near Fort Yukon, and pockets here in the Copper River Basin and around the northern Kenai Peninsula. But again, this is all going to get snuffed out here with the rains that are anticipated as we go through Saturday and Sunday, and then certainly by early next week, Monday, Tuesday, there's going to be that moisture pivot through this region, so that will further decrease the fire danger up there along areas of the northeastern mainland. But at least for now, things are a little too soggy here across the west, and that's just going to continue. So looking at the satellite imagery, we have one system that's pulled into the panhandle today with areas of rain and rain showers. We have this other low down here, not especially significant. More notable low is come down out of the Arctic Ocean and across eastern Russia and the Gulf of Anadyr, and that's going to pivot back down across St. Matthew and then just here off the lower Yukon Delta as we go through the next couple of days. Meanwhile, this moisture here coming off the North Pacific and riding along the Aleutian chain, this piece of energy is going to be the one that eventually links up with this one, and that's what's going to bring the windy and wet weather to the Gulf Coast, South Central, pulling northeastward into the interior later this weekend, and then overspreading the Panhandle as well. So get ready for more rain and wind along the Gulf Coast here as we go through the upcoming weekend, especially Saturday into Sunday. So here's the weather map this Wednesday afternoon. We have one trough and system that's providing the showers along the Gulf Coast into the Panhandle. This thermal trough is just a remnants of the warmer temperatures and some scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms. But this low's been sitting out here. Here comes that shot of colder air aloft, the instability with that going to link up with this low that's currently working its way eastward through the central Aleutians. Late tonight, this is kind of how things lay out. This low will just ride northeastward and weaken. This low combining with this energy will begin to get better organized on Thursday afternoon. Still some lingering showers along the Gulf Coast and into the Panhandle, though probably not as steady as today. Areas of the interior along the Elcan border all the way back toward the southern southwestern slopes of the Brooks Range could see scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms pop up Thursday afternoon, because there's going to still be a few areas trying to push 70 there, but it's the shot of colder unstable air with this low that's going to link up with this moisture and energy. And then come Friday afternoon, we have the one colder pinwheel low, kind of the main low that gets things going, and then this is going to strengthen as it works its way up along the western Gulf. We expect widespread rain to spread northeastward across south central into the Gulf, and eventually by the time we get into Saturday beyond the time frame of this surface map, I'll have that for you tomorrow. It's going to spread some rain then into the Panhandle. This rain could be moderate to locally heavy, especially where you have any type of enhanced precipitation from upslope flow with east-southeasterly winds. So that's something to keep in mind. Temperature-wise, temperatures stay above 50 degrees in the Panhandle, many areas here of South Central. It's the mild time of year. Daytime highs, though, with cloud cover, have to struggle to get back up above 60. It's generally in the 50s today in the Panhandle. May see a few areas break into the 60s. Any smidgen of sun easily pushes temperatures into the mid-60s here across South Central, including Anchorage, Talkeetna, Glen Allen. But nighttime lows, again, all areas should generally be above 50, with maybe the exception along the immediate coast at Seward, Cordova, on up toward the Copper River Basin. And then daytime highs Friday afternoon, if you get a little bit of sun, could approach 70 there at Glen Allen. And some 60s where you may have a smidgen of sun there on Friday in parts of the Panhandle, but not especially warm, not like what we saw the other day. Ketchikan was 75. Now, the central interior, lows generally above 50 along the Yukon and Tanana rivers. Coolest readings along the Arctic coast. Still, though, generally above freezing. Daytime highs get into the 60s. That's going to give some instability, even 72 there at Fort Yukon for Thursday afternoon. So you could see some cumulus buildups in this region from the 40-mile gold country all the way up toward Eagle, Fort Yukon, westward to Ambler. This area here could see an isolated thunderstorm pop up Thursday afternoon and evening. Nighttime lows upper 40s, lower 50s, except for along areas of the Arctic coast, 30s, mid-upper 30s, and then down along the Seward Peninsula, generally 40s. And then daytime highs could get back up around or just above 70, Eagle, Fort Yukon, Fairbanks for Friday afternoon. So again, the potential will exist for some cumulus buildups in the afternoon and evening with some scattered showers and perhaps isolated thunder. But back further west, only 45 there at Savunga beneath that cooler pocket of air there associated with low pressure along the west coast. For the southwest interior, lows tonight generally mid-upper 40s. Same thing, mid-upper 40s down along the Aleutians. With the rain and clouds, the thicker clouds pushing in here, highs only in the 50s for Thursday afternoon, maybe squeaking out, say 64 at McGrath, just because it's further up the line. Otherwise, 50s down along the Alaska Peninsula and the eastern Aleutians. Low temperatures Friday morning, 45 to say 50-ish across the southwest interior, as well as down along the Aleutians. And Friday afternoon, this rain widespread, low 50s. Generally, temperatures just sitting there in the low 50s with a steadier rain, especially Friday morning. And that energy, then that secondary low is going to be riding northeastward. So we expect the rain to be spreading northeastward here, especially Friday night into the day on Saturday as it overspreads the Gulf. So the extended temperature outlook, this is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, July 16th through the 20th. So just past mid-month. Look at this. Below normal temperatures across south central areas surrounding Cook Inlet, Prince William Sound, followed by the next tier, temperatures below normal in through the Panhandle, southern half of the mainland, and a bit below normal in the far north. So no signs. What I was showing you, the warm temperatures, or I should say not warm, hot temperatures in the lower 48, record heat in many cases. This is just going to allow this cooler, wetter pattern to prevail across Alaska going through mid-month and maybe a bit beyond. It's looking like precipitation chances average a bit above normal across the eastern two-thirds of the mainland along the Gulf Coast and in through the Panhandle, maybe near normal along the west coast and trailing out across the Aleutians.